What's going on, Card Pack? Today, we're going to take a look at where's the bottom. Where do we think the bottom is? And I have some really interesting data and thoughts to share. I kind of have a feeling where I think the bottom is. I'm going to show data and research as to why, give a little bit of an estimate, and share some thoughts. But before we dive into that, a couple reminders. Check out the podcast if you want the audios from these videos. If you can't watch the videos, you just want audios, check out the podcast, link in description. And if you want my top sports card pick of the day and to join one of the best discords in the industry, join the Sports Card Society, link in description, SportsCardSociety.com. It's only $12.99 a month or $129 a year. You get a couple months free on the year. But either way, it equates like 40 cents a day. How it works is a members area, you log in, there's new video uploaded almost every day. Short video, usually about 5 minutes, to show the card, data, research, and reasoning as to why I like it. And what I plan on doing with it. Am I selling it in a month? Am I selling it in a year? Am I selling it at the beginning of the season? What are we doing? A previous example here that I want to share with you is this Baker Mayfield. We were getting it for under $300 in March. Here it is going for its latest sale of $510 in June. So even though a lot of the market's going down, we're still picking some cards that have certainly gone up. And I expect this one to continue going up. I think it's going to be a $750 card by the time the season starts. But, if all you do is buy this Baker Mayfield, this more than pays your entire year's membership of the Sports Card Society. Not to mention all the other cards we've picked. And right now, there's some stuff that we are just loading up on. So check it out. Link in description, SportsCardSociety.com. And I can't say enough good things about the Discord. The people pay to be in it. It's an excellent, excellent community. It is much better than any free community you're going to go into because people, again, are committed and actually pay to be in this community. And it's excellent. That's all I got to say. I love them so much. So what I did is I pulled up the Market Movers tool, and we're going to look at a few key players that I feel are the indicators of the state of the market. We're just going to look at basketball because that's the leading sport in the sports card market. Just like when you go to a doctor and they take your blood, there's certain things they look for in your blood to see the state of your health, of your well-being. And we're not necessarily looking at health here, but we are looking for key indicators of where is the market, what's the state of it. And particularly, I'm trying to assess where I think the bottom is using data, using experience, using, data first and foremost, because that's not about gut feelings and emotions. That's about hard facts and evidence. And I'm going to share some things with you that I think are very important, and hopefully it gives you value. So please hit that like button and hit that subscribe button. I want to get to 5,000 subscribers. Let's dig into this. Again, we're in the Market Movers tool. We've got the Zion here. We're going to look at a few Zion cards. We're going to look at his Prism, his Optic, and his Select Concourse and Premier level. These are going to be the cards we look at because these are the major ones in the market. So I pulled it up over the last 365 days. Again, we're in the Market Movers tool. So I just pulled it up over 365 days, picked the cards. And we're only looking at PSA 10 because that's the card that sets the tone. That's the grade that sets the tone for the market. And the price of everything else is based off of the PSA 10 price. So over the course of 365 days, these cards, see, for instance, so when we go here a year ago, and it's the 2nd of June at the time of me recording this, I have some family coming in town here starting tomorrow. And so I'm going to be hanging out with them. I haven't seen them in like 5 years. So I definitely want to be all attention on deck to hang out with them. $499 was the Prism base on the 2nd of June last year, and $234 for the Optic. All right, now let's look at the Select ones. Looks like about $250 for the Concourse, $227 for the Premier. Since then, now as we follow the chart, you can see it's gone up, it's gone down, it's gone up. Looks like and it's gone sideways, and then it's gone down. And as you can see, some key things happened over the course of this year. The orange, which is the Select Premier level, see when we started the year, a year ago, the Concourse was going for more than the Premier level typically. They were going for about the same price, I should say. Now, the Premier level definitely overtook the Concourse, as it should, because look at the pop count difference. The Premier level is 604. The Concourse is about 4 times that at 2,346. And that's the Premier level, just to know the difference. Premier level, Concourse. Anyways, what I'm looking at here are the latest sales. So let's look at the latest sales. All 4 of them are right here. This is the latest sale on the 1st of June. The Prism is down about 15% over the course of the year, overall speaking, from where it was at the beginning of this chart, which was the 2nd of June 2020. The Premier level is up 51%. The Concourse is down 24%, and the Optic is down 40% since the beginning of this chart. Now that's super. Obviously, Zion isn't in the playoffs, and he was hurt before the playoffs even started, and the Pelicans didn't make the playoffs, right? So his cards have been going down for longer than any of the players that are in the playoffs, and they've been going down faster because why? There's no excitement with him. My caveat with that is going to be something. Just hold on a second. So that's super interesting. Let's look at the Optic. Optic going for 140, and to start the year, it was at 230, call it about 225 to 250 in there. So that's interesting. That one's definitely down on the year. The Concourse at 190, that's down 24%. Of course, the Premier level being up 51%. A big takeaway from that is the market. There were so many new people coming into the sports card market. They're just kind of buying what everyone else is buying. And you know what? I don't care where we are in sports card investing. To a degree, that is always the case. People are just buying what other people are buying. So you got to be a little bit smarter than your average bear yogi. Boo-boo. Premier level, pop count 604. Concourse 2346, they were going for about the same price. I never bought one Concourse. I always just bought Premier level. I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. There's 4 times as many of these Concourse. I'm going to buy the Premier level if they're the same price. And Premier level overtook Concourse big time. As a matter of fact, over the course of a year, the market learned that pop count really matters and really realized they want to have more rare things. And I think that will continue. And the Prism, it's down a bit here. And at one point, as you can see here, the Premier level even was going for more than the Prism. See, 540 on the 26th of May, and the Prism was going for 481. So let's zoom in on 30 days on these cards now. And I'm going to get to a conclusion here in a second, and I'm going to show you on some other ones too. I'm going to save my conclusion for the end, where I think the bottom is, okay? You can see it's just been over 30 days. What have these cards done? The Prism has gone down 31%. The Premier level has gone down 26%. The Concourse has gone down 45%. And the Optic has gone down 36%. And you can see that trajectory of them going down. It's pretty steady. So where is the bottom? Good question. If I had to guess on the bottom of this Zion, I'll tell you that at the end. So stick around. Let's move on to the next one. Luka. Of course, you got to look at Luka. By the way, again, we're in the Market Movers tool. I say it every video. I'm going to continue to say it. You need to have a data tool. Whether it's Market Movers or something else, I strongly prefer Market Movers. I've used them all. This is certainly my favorite. It has the most tools. It's the most robust. Certainly my favorite. I'll put a link in description for it. Use code SOCIETY for 20% off your first month of your first year. I have the Pro version, and I pay for the year because it's the best deal, and the Pro has the most tools. But you need a data tool. Because if you don't, if you're just trying to go back and forth from 130 point and eBay previous sales, you're using a horse and buggy in this race. And everyone else is driving a car. Horse and buggy, you're getting lapped and lapped and lapped and lapped by people with cars. Because most of us in the sports car investing realm have a data tool. Market Movers is also the most popular. You need to have it. You cannot compete in this market without it. You are so handicapped. That's all I got to say. You are so handicapped if you don't have a data tool. Because look at what I'm able to do here. I'm able to really gather information. And that's the key to all of this. So this Luka here, a year ago. Now Luka, unlike Zion, is still in the playoffs. And I actually think, again, at the time of me recording this, June 2nd, I think the Mavericks are going to beat the Clippers. Either way, Luka's still in the playoffs, so people aren't selling out his cards. People have been selling Zion's cards for a good month plus because it's been obvious they're not going to make the playoffs, plus he got hurt. So his cards have been on a faster decline for a longer period of time than Luka's. We'll dive into that more in a second. If you're getting value on this, please hit the like button and subscribe. I really want to get to 5,000 subscribers. $600 for the Prism a year ago and $400 for the Optic. Let's try to pull up the other select ones. Concourse and the Premier level, again, going for about the same price. $295 for the Concourse, $294 for the Premier level. And again, over the course of the year, as you can see, people realized pop count matters. Premier level, 581 pop count. Concourse, 1454 pop count. If you don't know what that means this card in this grade, that's how many of them currently exist. So the Luka Select Premier level in the grade PSA 10, there are 581 of them currently in existence. That number can change as more get graded, of course, but it probably won't change much because there's just most of them have already been graded straight up. Now let's fast forward to where we are currently. Try to find a spot where all four of them are. So it looks like right here. The Premier level, by the way, over the course of the year, same thing with the Zion. The Premier level far outpaced the Concourse. And it even became more valuable than the Prism because of Luka's pop counts. You know, his Prism is around 17,000, whereas his Premier level is around 581. You could remove 581 from Luka's Prism pop count and you wouldn't even notice. So 965 on the 31st of May, 965 for the Premier level, 862 for the Prism, 600 for the Concourse, 480 for the Optic. So all of his cards are up. The Premier level is up 228%, which shouldn't be a surprise because, again, the market learned pop count is really important, which is the supply. The Prism is up 44% over the course of the year. Concourse up 103%, and the Optic is up 20%. So the Optic seems to be the biggest loser thus far over the course of the year. I think the market has faded on Optic, but that doesn't mean that's the way it's going to be forever because Optic's a really good card. It's got the rated rookie logo. This is just a really good looking card. I really like these. I do have one of these myself. And the pop count is 4,000 as opposed to the Prism 17,000. So I think with Select being like people being, a lot of the market being Select, oh, maybe I should buy Select. And I like Select, but I think Prism got slept on a little too much. But anyways, Luka, let's pull this into 30 days. So the Prism is down 17%, the Optic is down 17%, the Concourse down 17%, and the Premier level down 21%. Let's compare that to Zion again. How much is his stuff down in 30 days? 26, 45, 30, and 36. So again, Luka being in the playoffs has really slowed his value his deceleration, his devaluing acceleration, I think is maybe the way I should say it. But if they lose, because I don't expect them to win the finals, so when they are out of the playoffs, whenever that happens, these will probably go down. But I don't know how much. I do have guesses on the bottoms, and I'll show you again. I'll sum all this up at the end. We got to look at one more player. We're gonna look at Ja, who is also in the playoffs. I do think he is gonna lose. So we got three things here. We got Zion, Ja, and Luka. Zion out of the playoffs, never was going to get in the playoffs. He was even hurt a little bit before the playoffs could even start. Ja made the playoffs kind of unexpectedly because he made the play-in, but then made the playoffs, beating the Spurs and then the Warriors, and then they won a game against Utah. But they're probably going to lose. They're down 3-1 at the time of me recording this, and Utah's just a better team. And then Luka made the playoffs, and I think they'll beat the Clip. So it's like these three different tiers of situations going on with three of the main key indicating players of the state of the market. I hope that makes sense. Hit the like button if you're finding value in that. So Ja here, to start a year ago, his Prism was going for 275, Optic going for 146. Let's find the first spot. His Concourse going for 200. I'm sure his Premier level was going for about 202, let me find a data point. 170 for the premier level. Again, same thing as Luka and Zion. The premier level became more valuable than the concourse, and even at points it rivaled or surpassed the Prism value here towards the last third of the year. So let's fast forward, and they all follow about the same pattern throughout the year. So let's fast forward to the most current. The 31st of March, the Prism's going for 274. It's down, it's about even from where it was a year ago. The premier level down, or it's at 195, down, up about 14% from where it was. The concourse, 132, down about 33% from where it was a year ago. And the optic at 112, down 23% from where it was a year ago. And that's interesting, right? Because we see Luka, his stuff was down the least. It was down around average about 15, 16%. Zion was down over the, well, let's do it over the course of 30 days. What am I doing? That's ridiculous. Let me look at Ja over 30 days before we make that assumption. Ja over 30 days. His Prism is down 11%. His Premier is down 30%. His Concourse is down 16%. And his Optic is about even, right? And so if we look at how much these are down, the Ja is kind of in the middle in terms of down. The Zions are down the most over the last 30 days and over the last year. The Lukas are down the least, and the Jaws are down right in the middle. And that makes sense based on where they are in their current state of playing in the NBA and stuff like that. Zion never was in the playoffs, not the play-ins, and he was even hurt a bit before it. So his cards have been going down for longer, and certainly been going down for the last 30 days. Luka and Ja, people haven't been as willing to sell their cards because of the playoff intentions. Ja, people are slipping on. That shows here. But his cards have been going down in the last 30 days. And Luka, his cards have held the best, which makes sense because you see him as having the best ability to go further into the playoffs. So let's sum all this up. But we have to go back to the year charts to really sum it up. So let me pull up all the year charts. Now, we'll start with Zion. Now, where he is right now, from a year ago, his cards are, most of them are down from where they were a year ago at this time. The Prism, it started around $500 a year ago to this date, went all the way up to, its high was about 900, was almost $1,000. And right now, it's going for way less than that, of $425. His Optic is at 139, down 40% over the course of the year. Let's see the pop count on the Optic, 6,470. You're telling me that I can get this Zion Optic and this Ja Optic for, we're getting close to $100 on those? Where's the Luke at? And he's still in the playoffs, so his stuff hasn't went down as much yet. I think Zion is the best indicator of where the bottom is, because he's been going down the longest, because he's not in the playoffs. He's done. He's been done. And his stuff is down 40, his Optic is down 40% over the year, over where it started a year ago. So I think, based on what I'm looking at, because I'm just using this as like a sports card investor, I'm like, Optic, really good brand. A popular card, got the rated rookie logo. Really good card. And I think the Optic is actually a little undervalued because people started putting more value on Select, and I think that will even out a bit, and Optic will bump up a bit. But if you think about it, if you're like, you can get a Zion Optic rookie card for, I think it'll go down a bit more, for $100 to $125. Now, is your first thought, without thinking about anything else, doesn't that sound like a deal? Can we agree first that these cards, they're not going to go to zero, right? We have to be able to agree on that. As long as you agree on that, we can move forward here. They're not going to go to zero. Are they going to go to $10? Probably not. Let's look at the Optic. $20? Probably not. $30? Probably not. 40? Probably not. 50? Probably not. I think $75 to $70 to $100 is the bottom of this optic. I think 70 is insane. I'm just being really, really conservative with that. I think in reality, I think about 100 is the bottom, because have you ever seen the show American Pickers on, is that on ABC, AMC? I forget what it's on. American Pickers, these guys that go around, they're from Iowa, they buy antiques basically. They're entertaining characters, but the main guy on there, Mike, he has this saying sometimes. He says, he's like, that's the make me take it price. Well, he'll say that when someone's offering for him to buy something from him, selling him something, and it's basically him saying, hey, that's so cheap, I have to buy it because that's ridiculous. We are approaching make me buy it territory. Because a year ago, at this time, there were less sports card investors and collectors in the market than there are today. A lot less. And the ones that were in it at this point had probably been in it for a while. And were in it before it was ever high, where it was just being normal markets. They were just in it because they've been in it. And now a lot of people have come into the sports card market, more than were already there. Now, as the market's going down, people are stepping away because they don't know what's going on and they're very uncertain. But regardless of any of that, there are still more people, many more people, in the sports car market than there were a year ago. But a lot of us are cooling down right now, being like, all right, well, where should I hop back in, basically? Now, let me give you another indicator. I feel like if you're paying attention to sports cards at all, you have your eye on some cards. Some. Probably maybe one, maybe two, three, maybe more than that, but probably at least one that you are eyeing and you're like, boy, if that gets to this price, I'm going to have to buy it. I'm going to have to snag that. Like I was watching Northeast Ohio sports cards, and that's what made me realize it, because I'm doing this too. And I realize there's a lot of people in the sports card market doing this. You may be doing that yourself. I was watching his channel, and he's clearly eyeing the Mahomes optic rookie. He's just waiting for it to get to a certain price point, and he's just going to have to buy it. And I realized, hey, there's cards like that I'm looking at. And I've been hearing that across the market from lots of people. And I realized, wow, that's where it is. And that's where the market stops. That's how the bottom happens. Because things get to a price where enough people just say, I have to buy this. And it's usually going to be the more premium players, your Mahomes, your Brady, your Zion, your Luka, your LeBron, maybe Ja, maybe Trey, maybe. Probably not Trey, although I think Trey's undervalued. But probably Zion, Luka, LeBron, Giannis, Mahomes, Brady, stuff like that. And those are probably the main cards, and those are the ones that really give the indicator of where the market is at, the state of it. And once those cards, because those cards have even been going down a little bit, the football ones in particular, which is really strange. Not really strange, it just gives an indicator of what's going on in the market. This video may be longer. I don't know how long it is, but this is an important video. Hit that like button if you've gotten value, and subscribe. Help me get to 5,000. For the love of all that's holy, get a data tool. Get the market movers. Get something. I prefer market movers. Link in the description with the discount code. There is a bottom. That's what the bottom is when there's enough people that go, that's it. I have to buy this. I can't believe it's this cheap. Look at the Zion optic. Are you kidding me? The high of this card over the last year was well over $300. There we are at $360. You're telling me if this card gets down to $100, that Zion optic, if it gets to $99, are you going to buy it? To me, that is a make me take it price. How could I not buy a Zion optic rookie PSA 10 for $99? Are you kidding? Are you kidding? How could I not buy that? You see where I'm going with this? And then all that needs to happen is one card does that. And it sets off a cascade, a domino effect. Because then everyone starts looking more at the market. They start looking at, well, what's this? Like this Prism, it got up to almost $1,000. It's 400. I think if the Prism gets anywhere near 300, even with that pop count, I think that's like I have to buy it. I have to buy it. This is ridiculous. And that's it. There are those points where that's the bottom. And I think we are very much nearing the bottom. I think these Zions will hit the bottom somewhere around the end / slightly after the NBA playoffs. And then I think they will start ticking back up. And I think that will generally happen for most of the sports card market. So my prediction, based off data, based off my thoughts, and I hope the thoughts I'm sharing with you, because there is a bottom, right? And we agree the bottom isn't zero. Not for your good players, anyways. Actually, we have to agree the bottom is nowhere near zero, because this is a real market that's been around for well over 100 years, and it's stronger than it's ever been, even though it's been declining, but it's been very inflated over the course of the year. Because there's so many people coming into it, there's been a lot of people getting smarter and learning about this market and changing their opinions. That's what we do in a market. There is a bottom. There is a make-me-take-it price that the card just cannot go below. I think for this optic, I say $99. Without a doubt in my mind, $80. I mean, $80? There's zero chance this card ever goes below $80. Because once it does, again, even if it gets to 99, which it's approaching and it may get there, maybe, there's just no way that people aren't snapping those things up. Because I don't think it will happen till probably after the playoffs, towards the end of the playoffs / after the playoffs. Because if you look at the football season, I use that as a piece of evidence too to look at. The football season, when we got into December, you could pretty well tell who most of the playoff teams were. And most of the football and the ones that were going in, it really kind of didn't matter. Football cards, as we got closer to the playoffs, started going up again, because football cards, when the season started, went down, and it went down pretty much till the end of November. And we got to December, because the football season started early September, so you're deep into the football season when it comes December. Cards started going back up, and the players that made the playoffs everyone kept going up, but if they were in the playoffs, their cards went up even more, and they kept going up ever since that point. Now that hasn't happened with basketball. It's not like, we got but it's a different sport, because in football too, it's a one-game thing. Anybody can win one game. Basketball's a little more predictable than football. Football's fairly kind of predictable, but it's much more emotional and exciting and stuff like that, because it's winner go home every single game. Basketball's not like that. Baseball's not like that. Really, it's just football. And I think that things are going to settle as we get closer to the end of the playoffs and probably after. And I think things will start ticking back up. So I don't know when the finals are scheduled for. I don't know. I don't remember exactly. It depends, obviously, on how many games it takes for teams to get there. But I think it's end of this month is when we're supposed to roughly get there. But then you got to remember, too, we have the Olympics at the end of July, August. The end of July and early August. There's a USA basketball team. I really think we are nearing the bottom, and things are going to start going back up. So those are my 2 cents. I shared this with you. Hit that like button if you found value. Hit that subscribe button. Links for everything in the description. If you want to see what I'm specifically buying, join the Sports Card Society. Link in description. And you got to have a data tool. Whether it's market movers or whatever, you got to have one, because literally you're trying to win a race on a horse and buggy competing against cars. Not a chance in hell. No way you can win that race. You got to have a data tool. Link in the description for the Mark Movers tool with the discount code. I hope this was valuable for you. It was very valuable for me when I did this dive in. And because those were the thoughts. When I saw Zion and Jaw in particular approaching $100 for their optic, that's when I was just like, oh, we're getting near the bottom. Because there's only so much further these cards can go down. They're not going to zero. I don't think they go to $50. I think Jaw, his optic, $70 at the bottom. I think Zion, $99 at the bottom. And then it's just kind of do your extrapolations here with the rest of them. But all you need is a couple cards to look at, and when they hit a certain price point, you know the market's hit the bottom. If you're looking at the right players, Zion, Ja, Luka, you know LeBron, obviously, but LeBron's kind of a different character. You know those are the indicators, just like when you take blood at the doctor and they check your cholesterol and your vitamin levels and your your hemoglobin and your iron levels and all that stuff. It gives a state of being, well-being, whatever you want to call it. We know there's a bottom. We know that. The question is, where is it? And those optics really pointed out to me, because there's just, as a sports card investor, as someone that buys cards so much, I think a lot of us are sitting here going, if a Zion rookie card, optic, gets to $99, I'm going to have to buy that. I think a large portion of the market is going to say, I have to buy that. Right now it's going for a little under $140. If that approaches $100, 99, that has to be the bottom, in my opinion. What do you think? Leave a comment. Don't be a dick. Leave a comment, a constructive one that's helpful for the community. If you disagree with me, fine, but explain yourself and just be cool about it. But there we go. I hope that was helpful. Stay classy, card pack. Links for everything in the description. Hit that like button, that subscribe button. You are awesome. I will see you tomorrow.